Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'll show you how to knit this balaclava. I hope you will enjoy this video, and if you do, don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and let's get into it. Now to make this, I will be using double knit yarn, and if you are going to change colors as often as I do, you will need multiple of colors. They will be used in two apart from the ribbing, which I'm going to do in green, and then I will be combining two colors at a time for my set of stripes. But then you will need 4mm and 4.5mm needles, scissors, stitch holder, and needle to hide in the tails. Before you begin, you want to do a gauge swatch, particularly for this part, because the yarn is carried over and it doesn't stretch as normal stockinette would. So you want to do a gauge swatch and see how many stitches you will need, and that gauge swatch is 2 stitches in one color, 2 stitches in another color. And once you have figured that, to start you will need to find out how many stitches you need for the ribbing that's around your neck, because it's worked bottom up. It needs to be multiples of 2 because this is 1x1 ribbing, and it's up to you how many you will do. Now to start, you want to use a 4mm needle and your yarn for the neck ribbing. Make a slip knot, tighten it up, and cast on even number for your ribbing that's going to be around your neck. And I'm going to be doing 100. Once you have your cast on, go ahead and do 1x1 ribbing, meaning knit 1, purl 1, and repeat. And you're going to do this in all of your stitches till you reach the end. So knit 1, purl 1, and repeat. When you finish your first row, you're going to turn your work and repeat this row as many times as you want until your ribbing becomes long enough for your neck part. I'm going to be doing 30 rows in total, and I'll see you then. And I just finished my ribbing. I have 30 rows in total. Once you have yours, cut off your current color and switch your needles to 4.5, which I already did. Now for this part, you will need to decide how many stitches you will need to leave for the front, which is about 1/3 for mine, and the rest is worked, which is gonna be the sides, the back, and another side here of the balaclava. So this is the next step you need to figure out before you move on. And from here is gonna be knit rows, then purl rows, basically stockinette. We will be bringing our next two colors, which we alternate, so 2 stitches in one, 2 stitches in other color, and repeat. So just to join my new color, I'm gonna go as to knit in my first stitch, grab my new color, bring it in, and then with this same color I'm going to knit my next stitch as well, like so. Then grab your second color and knit the next 2 stitches, and this is what you will repeat. So just grab both of those yarns, ignore your tails for now. It is optional on how you hold your yarns. I like to hold it this way, having them both on my index finger, and I just go knit with one color and then I knit with my other color, like so. And you will be repeating these stitches, so 2 knits in your first color, 2 knits in your second color, and repeat. So I'm gonna do that till the end of my row. Grab your stitch holder. If you don't have one, you can use an extra cable or even some yarn with a needle, and you can thread that through, tie it up, and just hold it like this temporarily. But I'm gonna use my stitch holder and I'm just gonna basically transfer my stitches onto that. And then you're gonna turn to your wrong side where you will need to do pearls. So you always doing the same color. So I'm gonna do blue and blue, red and red. You will continue working the same color. So the first 2 stitches I'm gonna do in this blue, and then in red, and so on. I do find this a bit more difficult because I can't hold both of the colors at the same time, so I just switch between the two. But yeah, purl all of your stitches till the end. And keep alternating those colors. And then you're again gonna turn your work to the right side, and we'll be repeating this knit row, purl row, and repeat until you build on your stripe. And I'm gonna be doing 8 rows in total for each colorway. So I have 2 already. I'm gonna do another 6. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and I'm gonna be switching color, which I'm gonna show you when I come to it. But basically you can do any amount of rows for each colorway depending on what kind of look you want to. Ignore the fact that I completely changed my colors. I just didn't like how the other 2 looked, but everything is basically the same. I just went back and changed the colors. Now I've got 8 rows for this part, and I'm gonna be changing my next 2 colors. So just to show you this one more time, you can cut off your old one, bring in your first new color and knit the 2 stitches. So that's 1. And 2, and then bring in your second new color. Knit 1, knit second, and you will be alternating between these 2 colors. So knit 2 in one color, knit 2 in the other. And again, you will do the same amount of rows you did, which is 8 for me. And you want to continue doing your rows until this is long enough. So basically you want to reach the length of your head, and then we will be working for the over the head part. I'm gonna explain this better when I do complete mine, and I'll show you what it should be looking. And I have now reached the length of the balaclava, and whatever number of rows you decided to do, which is for me 8 row repeats 5 times, that's the length. Anything else that I will be doing is only gonna cover the top of the head, so there's not gonna be much length to it. So when you come to this point, you want to be done with the length. Now you don't want to do your purl row of the repeat. So I actually have 7 rows for this, and I haven't done my purl. And this is because we will need to cast off some stitches. Now to cast off, I'm going to be casting off 22 on each side, and I will have 24 stitches in the middle. This is because we will work in the middle for the top of the head, and then we will join these sides with our piece. So the next thing you want to do, basically decide how many stitches you want to be on your side of the head, as well as the other side, which should be even, and then for the middle. For me, it's pretty much 1/3 for each, just the middle is slightly bigger. Once you're ready, turn your work to the wrong side, and we will be casting off purlwise. So again, for me, it's 22 stitches for the first side, and I'm gonna be casting off 22. To cast off, you want to purl the first 2 stitches to begin with. So I'm gonna do that. And now once you have 2, you want to pull this one through the second one, or bring the second one over like this. Then we have 1 stitch here, and we need another one. So I'm gonna do purl in my next color. And that is 2 stitches. Again, you want to go in and bring over the second one. I need another stitch, so I'm gonna go and purl. And you again go and bring over your second stitch. So you always do your pearls in color that you have it, which is yellow again for me, so I'm gonna purl that. I'm gonna bring it over. Again, purl one and bring it over like so. The next one is orange, purl that, bring it over, and so on until you have casted off whatever number of stitches you chose. And I have now casted off my 22 stitches. The next 24 stitches will be purled, so that's gonna be my middle, and I'm gonna leave the next 22 left, which I will bind off as well. So for the next 24 stitches, I'm gonna purl all of these, but before you start, you will need to transfer your last stitch of bind off back to the left needle. And using the color that is here, so not the stitch you transferred, but this color here, you're gonna go in through both purlwise and purl it together. Then purl your next stitch and repeat for whatever amount of stitches you chose to do. And I have my 22 stitches left, which I'm again going to cast off. So to start, you want to purl the first 2 stitches, that's 1 and 2. Grab your second one and bring it over. Now I need to purl one more, so I'm gonna do that. Bring the second stitch over, purl one more, and repeat this till you come to an end. When you finish your cast off, cut off with a bit of a tail and pull through your last color to secure. And this is what you will be left with. So now you will be changing colors to the next 2, and you will repeat those stripes until the length of this part becomes the length of the side. So basically, imagine you have a square here. If you join these 2, it would meet. So yeah, you can measure part of this and do number of rows until it matches the length. I'm gonna do that as well. So I'm gonna join my first color and I'm gonna do 2 knits. And I'm also gonna join my second color. And you already know this. I'm just gonna knit my stitches alternating these 2 colors, and then I'm gonna purl alternating the 2, and I'm gonna repeat until I have 8 rows for this colorway, and then I'm changing color and doing in next one. And overall, I'm gonna repeat this until I have the length of my side, which I'm gonna show you once I'm done with it. On your purl side, you purl your stitches in the color that you have it. So I'm starting with pink, and I'm switching to this dark red. And I have finished my piece. Now if I fold these 2 together, it's pretty much the same length, and I did 8 rows, and 5 only for this last colorway. This is where I'm gonna cast off. And you already know this, but to start you want to purl the first 2 if you are casting off purlwise, and bring this second one over this first one. Then purl next one and bring it over. Purl your next one, bring it over and repeat until you have no stitches left. When you're done, cut off longer tail and pull through your yarn. And now before you move on, you will need to hide all of those tails in, which is quite a lot. So it can be quite difficult because we have all of those in our way. These are the carry-ons of our color, so you might not be able to see the stitches very clearly, but you want to do your best and hide your tail into the color that you have. So I'm hiding in the blue and my stripes are here, so I'm just gonna go into my blue stitches to hide this tail in. I'm gonna move to the next one, do the same thing. You want to make sure it's not visible on the other side, and you're gonna repeat this with all of your tails. And you want to hide all of the tails apart from this one here. You will need one of them. So I did hide my yellow one, I left this orange here. Once you hide the tails in, you will need to fold these two together like so and sew it across. So I'm just gonna go into the corner straight away and I'm just gonna go and sew it like so from one side to the other and just going over like this. Once you're done, again, hide your tail in. Then grab the same color that you used for other side and sew the other side together as well. When you finish sewing everything together, you want to grab your work from this side, right side up, and switch back to 4mm needles, as we will be casting on for the ribbing around the face. And you want to start where your color stripe is. So I'm just gonna go into my first stitch, put that around my needle and pull through. So that's 1, 2, 3, and so on all around until you come to the other side here. So you're gonna be casting on every single stitch all around, just like so. And you want to make sure that you do cast on even number. I'm just gonna quickly catch all of these stitches on another stitch holder because it is facing the wrong way. And I have now cast it around, but before I transfer these stitches onto my needle, I'm gonna cast 2 in the middle here just to reduce the gapping. So I'm just gonna go in one space and in the other to cast on extra 2. Now I'm gonna pick up all of my stitches onto my needle and I'm gonna rejoin my yarn here. So where I finished putting my stitches, I turned and I'm gonna start from here, which is gonna be again 1x1 ribbing. So my first stitch is knit because this is 1x1 as well. So you want to just copy the stitches that you had, which for me starts with knit, and then my second one is purl, knit, purl, and repeat. When you finish this front ribbing part, you will come to your cast on and you just want to go in pattern. So mine finished with purl. I'm then gonna do knit, purl, and repeat. So you just want to make sure that it aligns in pattern. But yeah, I'm just gonna do my stitches until I reach the end, and I'm gonna see you then. When you finish your first row, you're just gonna repeat this until you're happy how big your ribbing is around the face. And it's the same row. Mine ended with purl, so I'm gonna start with knit on my right side. And yeah, I'm gonna repeat these rows until it's long enough. So I'm gonna leave you to it, and I will show you at the end how to join everything together. And I have now finished my ribbing. I did 8 rows in total. This is how big it is, but as always you can do as many as you want. And once you're ready to cast off, start by knitting your first stitch if it's knit, and then purling your purl, because you will always be knitting your knits and purling your purls. Once you have 2, you already know this, but you're gonna grab the first one and bring it over the second one. Now next stitch is knit, so I'm gonna knit that. It's 2 stitches again on my right needle. I'm bringing this first one over, then I'm gonna purl my next one and bring it over, and so on. This is what you will repeat until you cast off all of your stitches. When you finish your cast off, pull through your yarn to secure it. Grab a long tail and pull it through. And then you will basically need to sew these 2 sides together, starting from the ribbing at the top and all the way down like this. Now to join these 2 sides, I'm gonna be using my crochet hook, and I'm gonna be doing slip stitches all the way down, but you can also use your needle and sew it instead. Now to crochet it together, I'm gonna go into my first stitch and I'm gonna grab the yarn. I'm gonna chain 1, and I'm gonna go into every single stitch like this through both panels, and I will do a slip stitch in each. I'm also using a 4mm hook, same as my needles for this ribbing. At the end, chain 1, pull it through and hide this tail in, and this is it. I would highly suggest blocking it out to even out all of the stitches, because these can be pretty stiff, but that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in my next one.